Good evening. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, please consider liking and subscribing, as I do my best with my videos and I see a lot of engagement with my German stuff, and I really want to see more of my non-German stuff do pretty well. So if you would, please like and subscribe to see more of my content, and it helps the channel as well. Please go check out my Char2C and IS3 videos. Moving on to the subject of today's video, which you've more than likely already seen in the title and thumbnail, the Schurzen armor. World War II was a conflict of technological innovation, where armor and anti-armor weaponry rapidly evolved in a deadly arms race. As the war progressed, German tanks encountered increasingly powerful Soviet and Allied anti-tank weaponry. To counter these threats, German engineers developed Schurzen, a form of spaced armor designed to shield tanks from armor-piercing rifle rounds and early shaped charged weaponry. From the steppes of Kursk to the hedgerows of Normandy, Schurzen would play a crucial role in tank survivability, with metal plate and mesh variations, each proving their strengths and weaknesses within these battles. The concept of Schurzen originated in response to a growing battlefield threat: Soviet anti-tank weaponry. By 1942, German commanders reported alarming losses to 14.5mm armor-piercing rounds fired by the Soviet-made PTRD-41 and the PTRS-41. These weapons, used in mass numbers, could penetrate the relatively thin side armor of the early Panzer III's and Panzer IV tanks, disabling them or even wounding the crews. To mitigate this, German engineers introduced spaced armor, thin steel plates mounted on brackets, distance a few centimeters from the hull. This design caused projectiles to tumble or shatter on impact, reducing their ability to pierce the tank's main armor. By early 1943, the solution was implemented as Schurzen, meaning skirts. Initially made from 5mm rolled steel plates, these armored skirts were fitted to the hull sides and even turrets, providing additional lateral protection while remaining relatively lightweight. The Battle of Kursk in July of 1943 was the first major tank engagement where Schurzen was also widely deployed. The German offensive, aiming at cutting off the Soviet Kursk salient, saw thousands of Panzer III's and Panzer IV's, as well as the newly made Panther tank, which was also built with side skirt armor. On the open plains of Kursk, where long-range Soviet PTRD-41 teams awaited, Schurzen proved highly effective in reducing the penetration from anti-tank rifles. However, against the Soviets' 76.2mm Zis-3 field guns and the new Su-152 and ISU-152 assault guns, Schurzen offered little additional protection, as these weapons could easily overmatch the armor. In the intense tank battles against the T-34s and KV-1s, which were also the 76.2s, the Schurzen did little at all to even stop these rounds. Whether it had been armor-piercing or APHE rounds, it would do nothing. The armor would either become completely useless or be knocked off the tank entirely. Despite these limitations, reports from Kursk indicated that Schurzen improved the survivability for Panzer IVs against the lighter anti-tank threats. As a result, the skirts became standard on German Stobe 3 assault guns and remained a fixture on the Panzer IV series and again the Panthers throughout 1944 into 1945. By mid-1944, the battlefield had changed dramatically. The hedgerows of Normandy, German tanks now faced Allied infantry anti-tank weapons, such as the new American bazooka, the British Piat, and on the Eastern Front, the RPG-43 grenades by the Soviets. Bazooka and Piat warheads used high-explosive anti-tank or heat technology, which was not new, but was also not the primary focus of what Schurzen was designed for. While Schurzen occasionally reduced the effectiveness of these shaped charges, as they're also somewhat referred to, they were not reliable countermeasures at stopping it. as the thin steel plating was often too close to the main hull to fully disrupt the heat jet. However, field reports suggested that some spaced armor effects helped disrupt the fusing mechanism, particularly on low-velocity infantry-fired weaponry. As a result, German engineers sought to improve Schurzen by designing a lighter and more effective version, the Thomas Schurzen. In late 1944, German designers introduced Thomas Schurzen, a new version of the armored skirt made with steel wire mesh instead of the regular solid steel plating. The shift to wire mesh was driven by several factors. The steel plates of the Schurzen, though thin, did add extra weight to the tank, and made the tank wider and also had impact with the ground. So this, in combination with the hedgerows, the trees, and the hills, and even the slopes of the fields, caused them to either be knocked off, ripped apart, or ultimately removed from the tanks in general. Steel plates frequently bent or detached after minor impacts, like I had said. Wire mesh was more flexible, so if the steel framing of the wire mesh were to hit the ground and be bent, it wouldn't ultimately destroy or damage these wire meshes to the point of not working. It would also help reduce the damage from shrapnel and other shell impact effects. The best point to this would be the better performance against heat rounds. Tests revealed that the wire mesh caused early detonation of shaped charged warheads, reducing their effectiveness before they could even concentrate the explosiveness on the tank's hull. By early 1945, Thomas Schurze was increasingly seen on Panzer IVs, Stug 3s, and Jagdpanzer 4s, particularly on the Eastern Front. The normal Schurzen was heavier and reduced a bit of the mobility, mostly due to it widening the tank and being so low to the ground it would impact the ground. Because of the suspension having to do its job, it would lower the tank and potentially damage the Schurzen. The Thomas Schurzen, again, lighter and had less strain on the vehicle, and if damaged, it would just be bent but still practical. The durability was also very different, as again, the normal Schurzen was prone to the bending due to any impacts, and it was also very prone to just detaching under certain conditions. If it was damaged in a certain way where it damaged the brackets, it could just come off, or if certain shell impacts happened, the shells could also remove the Schurzen. Same goes with the Thomas Schurzen. Certain shell impacts could also remove the Schurzen, but the Thomas Schurzen was just more flexible and had better resilience in general. The effectiveness versus the anti-tank rifles was quite a bit different, as normal Schurzen was very effective against this, as that is what it was designed for. But Thomas Schurzen had some effect, but it was not meant for this at all. So if the round was placed correctly, it could just pass straight through the open links of the Thomas Schurzen and still do its job. As for heat or shape charge warheads, normal Schurzen could do pretty okay. It was very inconsistent, but Thomas Schurzen, for what it was designed for, was very effective at the premature detonation of these warheads. The production cost was also very different. These steel plates were a bit higher as they had to be manufactured and the brackets manufactured to be put on the tanks. While the Thomas Schurzen still used the same bracketing, it was much lower and easier to manufacture, as they utilized a bar framing, which was the only more expensive part of it. The wire could just be wrapped around the steel bars, or even wrapped around the steel plating, which was very easy to do no matter what. While Thomas Schurzen proved to be an improvement, its introduction came way too late into the war to significantly impact the outcome of the war. Schurzen represented one of the earliest implementations of spaced armor in warfare, a principle that would become fundamental in modern armored vehicles. A lot of post-war designs, such as the T-54 or the T-55 series, the Leopard 1 series, and the M60 Patton series, all utilize spaced armor concepts to counter heat threats. The Chobham armor found on the M1 Abrams and Challenger 2 tanks evolved from the same principles, incorporating composite materials and air gaps to defeat the shaped charges. modern slat armor seen on the M1126 Strikers and the T90s directly descends from Thoma Schurzen, providing the continued relevance of spaced armor against RPGs and heat munitions. From the frozen battlefields of Kursk to the dense hedgerows of Normandy, Schurzen played a critical role in German armored warfare. Though not a perfect defense, it showcased an early attempt at modular armor, influencing tank protection strategies for decades to come. As tank warfare evolved, so too did the principles first tested with Schurzen, proving that even seemingly minor battlefield adaptations can leave a lasting legacy. The legacy also includes the fact that you can find Thoma Schurzen and normal Schurzen in a lot of video games, from the Call of Duty series to War Thunder and World of Tanks. Schurzen is widely understood and known, though some people don't really know why it came to exist. When you do understand why it came to exist, you know then why a lot of modern tanks have some of the armor they do. Explosive Reactive Armor, or ERA, is more or less also an adaptation off of the Schurzen. While not directly related to Schurzen, ERA is an interesting topic, and I might cover the development of ERA at some point, but ERA came from the fact of anti-tank weapons such as RPGs. So, in a way, they're kind of cousins, Thoma Schurzen, Schurzen, and ERA. Thank you so much for being here and watching the video. If you stuck around this far, thank you so much. Please remember, like and subscribe. And if you're new, again, I'm pretty sure you'd like my content. If you're this far in, go ahead and watch some of my others. I put a lot of effort, again, into my Chart2C and IS3 video, and they don't have a lot of views compared to my normal German stuff. So, now that I'm getting back into the swing of things, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Please give me ideas in the comments as well. Bye.